What's going on, everyone? Chargers Now is presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and on today's show, we're going to have to get through some disrespect because I think it's absolutely asinine what the ESPN rating systems are doing to the Los Angeles Chargers. Because right now, when I look at this Chargers team, it is not a bad team. It is not a team that should be ranked poorly, and that's not from an entirety because ESPN, when they rank the entire roster of the Chargers, obviously had the Chargers in that upper tier of the National Football League. But this is strictly based on the skill players for the Los Angeles Chargers. And in my opinion, when you look at the skill positions for this team in LA, I don't see how they can be ranked in the position that they are in. So what skill positions are, for those of you who do not know, on the offensive side of the football, it is wide receiver, tight end, and running back. Now, quarterbacks and offensive linemen do not factor into the debate or the rating system for this ESPN list specifically. Now, again, we saw where the Chargers were with their roster. I'm not expecting the Chargers with their roster to be in that top 10. So when we pull up the top 10, it makes a lot of sense why the Chargers are not necessarily in there. I'm not here to disparage, to attack, to poo-poo anything. To me, this just kind of unfortunately seems to be where the Los Angeles Chargers are at right now in their time in the National Football League. They are just a team, in my opinion, that I get why they're not in the top 10. You should probably be on the outside of the top 10 looking in based on the players that they have on the roster, while also at the same time where this Chargers team is progressing. Now, where they end up ranking, we'll let you know here in just 1 second. But first, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5K. We're trying to get there as quickly as we possibly can. Right now, we're at 4,600, just a little bit above. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll never miss out on any of the content that we have here. So like I said, Chargers not being top 10, that's not crazy. I'm not going to be too upset. I'm not going to be too aggrieved here. It feels like this is a team, when you look at the roster and where they could potentially be at, they should probably just be outside of that top 10. So I agree with that. That's fine. Of course, the Chargers are going to come in the top 15, right? What? They're not in the top 15. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The Seahawks, the New York Jets, the New Orleans Saints, two teams, by the way, Jets and Saints, they suck. The Colts and the Chicago Bears. So you've got three teams in that top 15 that didn't make the postseason that are ahead of the Chargers. I know some people are going to say, well, a lot of that is because of how well the defense performed. And okay, all right, I can have that conversation with you. But I still don't see how, in a world where you look at the skill talent that the Chargers have at the running back position, at the skill talent that the Chargers have at the wide receiver position and the tight end position, why they are not ranked higher. This is a crew and a team, in my opinion, that has had a lot of success and should be higher up on the board. Yet they are not. Why is that? Is it a West Coast bias thing? I guess I should say East Coast to West Coast bias. Or is it something else? So where do the Chargers end up ranking? Well, ESPN had the Chargers in that 19 spot. So they're behind the Ravens, the Packers, Jaguars, but slightly ahead against the Chiefs, a team that was absolutely atrocious last year. So ESPN and Bill Barnwell, the man who ended up writing this article, thinks that the Los Angeles Chargers right now have the 19th best skill position group between wide receiver, running back, and tight end in the National Football League. And in my opinion, I just don't really understand where he's coming from or where he got these numbers. We're going to dive into what he had to say and kind of my breakdown of each player and each position group. But first, I do need to let you know that today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the baseball season in full swing, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at PrizePicks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. To qualify for a PrizePicks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including hits, home runs, strikeouts, and several others across all sports. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature, where you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app, at BigWill7774, to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. So Bill Barnwell is the one who wrote this for ESPN. Why don't we go through what he had to say and why he lists the Chargers so low on his list? Most of the additions the Chargers made this offseason were about shoring up blocking for their run game. In came Alec Ingold, Charlie Kolar, David Njoku, and new interior offensive line. All of that will help the Chargers run the football more effectively during the regular season, but we're not focusing on blocking here. So it falls outside the purview of what we're looking at in terms of playmakers. Well, here's the problem, Bill. You are looking at tight ends. And while Charlie Kolar is known for being an exquisite blocker, that doesn't mean that he's a bad route runner and receiver. David Njoku is known for being a good receiving tight end. So to me, this is frankly ridiculous. When you look at a guy like David Njoku, it's important to realize that while his stats may have been down over the last handful of years, he's actually been someone in his time when he's 100% healthy that has found and had success in the National Football League. What I do not understand and what I will not fully comprehend, at least for right now, is how you can look at David Njoku's stats over the last 4 seasons, even if you kept in 2025, and looked at him and said, that's not a guy who can catch the football. Because to me, that's a dude who can run all over the field, get open, catch the ball, and you're not going to miss a single thing. When I look at Charlie Kolar, that's a guy who, yeah, he's more of an addition because of his blocking prowess, but I'm not going to sit here and say that the kid can't catch the football. He's a very talented receiving tight end, and he is brought in to be used as more of a receiving tight end in LA. Gadsden, the guy who has had the most success and been the biggest, I want to say, riser for the Los Angeles Chargers, he is still on this roster as well. So why are we not talking about him as being someone who could potentially add into what this tight end room is going to be? You look at the entire depth chart for this Chargers team, there's a lot of really good players here. And there's a lot of guys that have had success in the National Football League and are going to continue to have success in the National Football League. I think that this is a deep, deep pass-catching group. And the fact that Bill Barnwell has them low, honestly, I think is insanely disrespectful. Go down in the comment section and rank the Chargers offense. The Chargers have a top what offense in the NFL? Is it a top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20? You let me know what your opinion is in our comment section. When we look at the running back depth right now for this Chargers team, there are 3 players that can clearly run the football and do it at an extremely high level for this team. Omarion Hampton is going to be the bell cow, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Mitchell and Vidal cannot carry their end of the load. When you look at the Chargers last season, you were able to get 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 between this duo, and that was with a lot of games missed due to injury. That was in a Greg Roman offense that was, in my opinion, not well called and made it very clear what the tendencies were. That was behind an offensive line that was the worst in the National Football League. That crew can do a lot of really good things. Now, Keaton Mitchell, he's going to be more of your explosive play threat, but he's a really good running back as well. And that is mentioned in the article where they say, yeah, you got good depth, but do you have a true one? Yeah, I think you have three guys that make up one. This isn't the quarterback position where if you have two, you have none. If you have three, you feel pretty good about where you're at. When we look at the wide receiver depth chart for the Los Angeles Chargers, it is ridiculous to think that this crew is not going to be solid. First of all, Quentin Johnston, I think from everything that we've heard out of OTAs and minicamp, he's going to be the one. He is going to lead this crew. And we have seen him year after year after year get better and better and better. His yards per catch go up, his touchdowns go up, his yards go up. And if he is able to be a little healthier last year, his receptions go up as well. Ladd McConkey had a really good 24 season. Didn't have as good in 25. Now, I do think that Keenan Allen did soak up some of the routes that he was running, took away some of the big plays that he was able to have. But to sit here and say that Ladd McConkey is not ready for prime time, well, that would be wrong as well. I think that he is a solid wide receiver in the National Football League, and he certainly deserves a lot more credit as well. And he is someone that we're going to discuss a little bit further here in just one moment. But I do need to let you know that today's show is also made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game. And with SeatGeek being MLB's official ticket marketplace, your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. I thought it would be fun last night. Me and the special lady friend, we went on to SeatGeek to look at some Chargers tickets. Now, we looked at that opening day game against the Cardinals. You know me, I'm looking for the best deals possible, so I'm looking for those green dots. And I want to sit as close as I can to the end zone, hopefully see as many TDs as possible. Whether it's a Chargers game with the special lady friend or a Co-Wetzel concert with the boys, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And of course I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so very much, SeatGeek. ESPN and Bill Barnwell, they said that it wasn't Quentin Johnston, that it was Ladd McConkey that needed to be the star. Essentially what ESPN said is the reason why the Chargers were where they were at is because they didn't have that number one guy, and McConkey has shown that he could at least be close to that. Now, I do think that Ladd is going to have a much better season this year, one, because right now Keenan Allen isn't there to take away some of his receptions, but two, because the offense is going to be better. But I really do think that you are going to see two things emerge this next year. Quentin Johnston, and I think you're going to see Ladd McConkey go back to being what he was. And if he returns to having an 1,100-yard season and Quentin Johnston has his first 1,000-yard receiving year, you're going to be talking about this team as not a bunch of 2s and 3s, but as a bunch of 1s and 2s in the NFL landscape. Right now, the problem is ESPN says everyone's a 2 and a 3. No 1s and 2s. I think that Mike McDaniel, he's going to completely revamp this offense. And he's going to make everyone realize just how talented a lot of these guys are. And that's not even talking about the running back room. That's just talking about the wide receivers on this team. There's a lot of really strong, talented players that I think didn't get the love and attention that they deserved. Did ESPN disrespect the Chargers? Go down below in our comment section and let me know, yes or no. I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say because in my opinion, I think that they did. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on any of the content that we have out on the channel. Might be a little less content out this weekend. I'm still fighting through my concussion. Hopefully get back to regularly scheduled programming and the amount of programming next week. I appreciate you for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you for bearing with me. Go tell someone that you love them. Have a happy Friday. And as always, bolt up.